so their people are not completely aware of what's going on.
Also, it's funny, AOC's Green New Deal was brought up on the Senate floor for a vote, and it got a whopping 0 votes. So I think these people they're mostly calm. They say they're going to implement things, but I don't think they're scared of the backlash.
So you're both in favor of capitalism, that's clear. So how would you, I think it's important for us to come around on the other side of the topic. So how would you argue, what's the argument for socialism?
Socialism, income inequality is the main thing people are focusing on. I think from our generation specifically the everyone wins a trophy generation, thinks they're a lot more entitled than most generations, so they say things like healthcare is a right, and all these things are rights, but you're not entitled to anything in this world. You're only entitled to your own ability, what you can produce for others, and that's what determines how much you're going to be paid. That's the most of what you make of it.
The main focus of socialism is redistribution. So the one pro is income equality.
I'm interested to know if you actually talk to any people. You characterize these people as wanting something for nothing. Did you talk to people who have been on some of these social safety net programs, or
both my parents were
from access to health care, or did you just kind of stay in the books?
Both my parents were on welfare when they were children, and now looking back on it, it was helpful, and I would say we do need a social safety net, but they would say the way it's being used today is not particularly helpful with the programs, and they would also say that had nothing to do with their success, and that my mom does not like saying that those government dollars are the reason she became a doctor.
Would it be fair to characterize from your description of the current generation that our capitalistic society up to this point, even modified capitalism as we've kind of described it, has allowed us to have the discussion about the possibility of introducing more socialism into it?
And you see in all these Nordic countries, the only reason they're able to support these massive welfare states is through the principles of capitalism and the profits of capitalism is brought to.
Fair to say, Kevin?
Yes, sir. Well, you gotta borrow the money from someone. I think it was Margaret Thatcher that said the problem with socialism is you eventually run out of money to borrow.
It was Margaret Thatcher. Well done.
Is there anything that you all found in your research? I think there's just about 5 minutes left. Is there anything that you all found that we haven't asked you about that you are surprised maybe we didn't think of, or that you wanted to make sure you shared with us today?
During recessions, I would say the government is very too quick to act. Like a lot of people say, the New Deal is what got us out of the Great Depression, but there's no statistical evidence that supports that. And a similar recession happened in 1921 under Warren G. Harding, and unemployment had reached 11.7%, and his solution was to cut taxes and federal spending during this. And federal spending, if you were to cut federal spending during a recession, a Keynesian economist would say you're crazy. But in the following year, unemployment dropped to 6.7%, and then he cut federal spending and taxes again, and it dropped to 2.4%. And then when Calvin Coolidge took over, it got all the way down to 1.8%.
Yeah, I have some stuff. So from 1988 to 2008, those in the lower and middle income brackets saw 40% increases in their pay, which is according to Adam Smith Institute. Mortality rates for children under the age of 5 have declined by 49% from 1990 to 2013. This is according to the World Health Organization. And this decline is determined faster than ever. Capitalism results in lower child mortality rates by producing better access to medicine and standards of living. Also, there's a direct correlation between purchasing power parity and the economic freedom index. So as countries rank higher on the economic freedom index, there's a direct correlation to their higher GDP per capita.
One other thing I would like to add is people complain about tax cuts on the top marginal bracket and call it tax cuts on the rich and refer to it as trickle-down economics. This is not a real theory that's came up with. This is just a caricature came up from people on the left It's actually referred to as supply side economics. And J.A. Schumpeter wrote a 1,260-page book on history of economic analysis, which involved the world history of different economic strategies, and trickle-down economics is not referred to it in the book once. And when these tax cuts are employed, it does not only just help the people on the top, it does help people on the bottom. When Reagan was president, people in the bottom 20% earners, their wages increased by 40%. But when Obama was president, it only increased by 7%. And another thing, when these taxes are cut, people worry about deficits growing. But when Harding and Coolidge did it, the national debt went from 24 billion in World War I to 18 billion in those years.
Guys, this might be a little bit outside of the scope of your research, but what do you think is going to happen in the 2020 election?
I think after the Mueller case, and if the economy holds out, Trump will get reelected.
There's a CNN poll that came out today. So Biden's at 39%, which is up 6 points from last year. Sanders is at 15, and I think next is Buttigieg or Harris at 8 or 7%. But I'm not really sure. I think Biden has the best chance of winning, and I'd say even if Biden or Bernie Sanders does win, I don't think anything is going to get done if Republicans keep the Senate, because Bernie's going to try to pass all these, like the Green New Deal, but it's not going to pass this. So,
Are you winning the primary or winning the general?
the general.
There's only been one president in U.S. history who hasn't had an economic recession that lost the following election, and that was the first Bush, and that was because a third-party candidate ran.
Doesn't really have anything to do with it. This is more related to guns. Kamala Harris. she said that she would give Congress 100 days to act if she's elected on gun control, pass gun control, or she would do it herself, which is just absolutely absurd. The founders never intended for a president to take action. I disagree with Trump trying to do it. I disagree with Kamala Harris.
If I could choose anyone, I'd probably either choose Rand Paul or Thomas Sowell, if he lived long enough.
Thank you, fellas.
I think that's coming.